All right, guys. If anything, let's go ahead and start diving into this week's episode as we're going to be getting into Dino Fury, episode number 15. Our review for you guys today, titled Storm Surge. Is the this is here? Hello, dear. Hello, dear. Thank you so much for the coffee, honey. Coming through. Thank you. Giving me that extra energy to bring you guys a hyped up episode of Dino Fury today. So titled Storm Surge. And remember, guys, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A-plus opinions. But listen, I want to know yours. What do you guys think about this episode? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. There might be some things that I missed. And if there is anything that I missed that you specifically want to bring up, feel free to go ahead and talk amongst yourselves, guys, and we'll definitely go ahead and get into it. So Storm Surge, baby. That's right. An episode that had two things, really highlighted the Ollie character, and then, of course, we wind up getting ourselves a great appearance here by the Gold Ranger himself, finally making his debut in a Save the Rangers sort of epic moment, just kind of swinging in last moment to go ahead and put that beat down and that ass whooping over on the villain here this week, which I really appreciated. First and foremost, when it comes to the Gold Ranger, I guess we should talk about that first, right? Just because of the fact that, I mean, it's like the biggest thing that happened in this episode, to say the least. I love the idea that he has himself like a gold pod. I love getting the opportunity to see that sub drone sort of pulling it out of Pine Ridge Bay. Even really love the effect of like just seeing him kind of climb out of his gold capsule, if you will, seeing how Mucus along with Slither was reacting to it. Special effects wise, I thought it was like really cool to kind of see him slowly crawl out of his pod. I thought that was pretty neat. And then, of course, the epic swinging in sort of thing, or jumping in to go ahead and save our Rangers. Incredible. Great usage, I thought, of not only original footage, but to at least for the brief introduction, and then jumping into the Super Sentai footage to have Kanalo and showcasing just all of what he's capable of. We got to obviously even get to see his electro battle armor, which is as glorious as it looks. I mean, outside, I want to say like the blazing armor, cool and all, but the electro armor, I think, is probably one of my favorites outside of the Max Real Soul that we see in Real Soldier. That should eventually become a battleizer for Zato in here. But I've always been a big fan of the electro battle armor that we see Ion using in this particular episode. He even's got, I think when I first saw this in Real Soldier, I always refer to it as his powered up turkey cutter. His dagger that he has that has the ridges that go back and forth just reminds me of like Thanksgiving whenever I'm trying to carve a turkey. His turkey carver, as I like to certainly call it, looked incredible. Great looking weapon. I mean, he definitely came in here rather showy and really kind of making an impression, to certainly say the least. But for me, I think the biggest moment outside of seeing the Gold Ranger kick some ass, not only hearing Jordan Fite's voice, it was really cool to kind of hear him pronounce certain words, talk about his Mosa Rex blade, whatever the case may be. But I love just the not saying too much, but just the, hey, Zalo, what's up? Like, hello, Zato, kind of thing, right? Like just making a connection and a reference to Zato that makes Zato as shook as I've ever seen him. I really do love the performance of Russell Curry in that one, in this particular scene, of the idea of almost like you've seen a ghost, you know, somebody that you certainly recognize and know of, but maybe you haven't seen in such a long time. Clearly, there's probably going to be a really crazy past between these two, just based off of the episode descriptions that we've seen so far. I'm really eager to see exactly what this crazy past that both Ion, I should say, and Zato certainly have or haven't necessarily told the team, that I'm ready to see unearthed and actually brought to the light. So I'm really excited for that. But just seeing the Gold Rangers say, "Hey Zato," or "Hello Zato," and seeing just how quick Zato was just willing to get out of there, like, "Oh, I'm gonna grab the Sporks piece and look, I'm gonna go head back to the command center. I'll see you guys later. Bye." Like I absolutely love it, because it definitely added some drama drama and certainly some mystery. The rest of the team certainly seems pumped to know that there's going to be a new Ranger on board, but the fact that they don't really know what his history is, how he is in fact connected to Zato, it should be interesting. And I think for me, it's just interesting. It's like the Gold Ranger doesn't want to say too much, but the fact that he literally just says two words that literally just start causing a bunch of questions that Zato immediately becomes uncomfortable with having to answer, I think really speaks volumes, if you ask me. And so I'm glad that he didn't just come in, start introducing himself to everybody, right? Like the showrunners are really drawing out this storyline between these two characters. And I thought this was a really great way to not only bring enthusiasm to a new Ranger and just great action and things like that, but also at the same time to add a little bit of drama and a little bit of suspense in regards to why Zato is certainly acting that way now that we've got ourselves a Gold Ranger on board. So yeah, man, this is a storyline that I've been really eager to definitely dive into. It's one of those things ever since we've seen Zato trying to communicate with Raf Khan or his people, learn about what happened in the past or to his people, from the him sending out signals, him trying to communicate with people, clearly knowing that there's a bigger story to certainly be told when it comes to Rafcon. Now that we've got Ion on site, it should definitely make for some very compelling television. So, it does make me wonder, like, did the Gold Ranger choose his words very carefully, right? Like he could have come in and said anything else, but the fact that he at least recognizes and calls out to Zato and then just leaves. I think, I do wonder if Ion's got a little animosity or is holding on to a little bit of something himself, right? Like, I just want you to know I'm here, my guy. Just know I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep your eyes open while you're sleeping, Zato, type of moment. But I loved it. I thought it was pretty cool, honestly. I felt like there was probably even more footage that they probably could have utilized from the Real Soldier Super Sentai series for this particular debut, but I thought they certainly did it justice, to definitely say the least. So, guys, listen, I want to know your thoughts. While we don't necessarily see Jordan Fite himself in this episode, again, we do hear his voice. Clearly, his character here as the Gold Ranger has, in fact, appeared. I'm ready to see Jordan Fite, and I'm assuming, if anything, that'll probably come in next week's episode or episode number 16. So really eager to definitely dive into this a little bit deeper as the season continues. But guys, I want to know your thoughts in regards to the Gold Ranger. Getting to this point in this episode was certainly something else, to say the least, as we've got Ollie along with Javi really sharing the spotlight in this episode. And I got to be honest, the fact that we've got this storm surge over Pine Ridge Bay clearly has people interested, right? It's got Jane now assigning Javi a new story to go ahead and certainly check out what the storm is that's brewing, vastly different and more supernatural than they've certainly seen in the past. So something is definitely brewing over Pine Ridge Bay. And it comes down to the idea of Javi wanting to interview Dr. Akana, who winds up actually having an appearance in here. Dr. Akana. It was so good to certainly see her, man. Beautiful as ever, but always a great addition to the season, if you ask me. I really wish that we had a little bit more involvement of her. But anytime that she is in an episode, usually pretty impactful. We're seemingly learning something brand new in here. So we do get the opportunity to see Javi along with Ollie and even some Dr. Akana in this particular episode. But I will say this, going into this episode, I remember last week I was talking about Ollie and talking up about his bravery, how he really pushed his fear aside, really focused, if you will, his bravery, his courage to go ahead and take on Lord Zed. And I remember a bunch of you in the comments were like, Ollie's a dick. He's so mean. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I haven't seen anything from Ollie that like I know that he jokes around and it's probably just like all out of fun and stuff. But I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, Ollie's the furthest thing from it. No, Ollie's a dick. Okay. Ollie's super rude in this episode. As you guys saw just in my thumbnail, or I should say the title of this episode, Ollie rude AF, man, in this episode. Listen, I get the appreciation and love for Ollie in regards to he's a tech guy, right? Like he loves his technology. He's an inventor. We saw him in the camping episode when the Rangers were stranded out in the middle of woods. Really, just how his love for technology and invention can really get people out of a pickle, right? So there is a benefit to Ollie in regards to him wanting the newest tech. But there clearly is a downside also. And he kind of, it's crazy. He kind of reminds me of like my brother, at least when he was growing up, maybe like in his teens. You know, cell phones always a big thing. Everybody needs a cell phone, but there's just some people out there that just need the newest of the new. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll get a phone one year, a new phone will come out, and some people are just, I gotta trade this phone in. I gotta trade this phone. And that's what my brother was like all the time when it comes to technology, not just phones, but video games, cameras, yada yada yada. I mean, he loved his technology. So I did kind of chuckle at the idea when they make fun of Ollie of always wanting the new technology. I'm just like, that's my brother. Like, I'm pretty sure that's my brother, Corey. Mm. You know, when you take that first sip of coffee and it just punches you in the face and you just feel it slowly trickling down your veins. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Especially on a Saturday, talking about Power Rangers. Absolutely. So Ollie definitely reminds me of my brother. But the fact of putting your technology above your friends just honestly hits me definitely the wrong way. And it's not just that he does it once in his episode. Homeboy literally does it twice to Javi, right? Like Javi was relying on him in the very beginning of this episode to come through with like some of his information for like the plant-based car EVs or something like that. What do they call them? Punions or something is what he was trying to get his some information on. But Ollie was super late because of the fact that he went and got some brand new headphones, which off fit check when it comes to Ollie. I love that vest, that light baby blue vest that he's rocking. I do love the vest, so I will give Ollie some kudos there. But he shows up without any information but brand new headphones, right? Really screwed Javi out of his first story. In return, we wind up having to watch paint dry, thanks to Jay Borg in here, right? So really kind of dropping the ball when Javi certainly needs your help, and then dropping the ball again the second time on his interview that he's doing live, mind you, for Buzz Blast in front of people that are certainly watching, just being hella rude, you know, being super distracted, even though he told this guy, his friend, that he was going to promise him to be there to help him out in every way possible. It does feel a little bit weird to me also because of the fact that I just watched episode number 14, where Ollie literally says at the end of the episode, the only thing that I'm scared of is losing my friends. This is how you treat those friends that you're scared of losing? Like shit? Like the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna promise you something, but I'm not gonna come through. Talk about just being one of the most unreliable people you can certainly count on. There is a pet peeve of mine that I have when it comes to people that just can't be reliable. Like if you say you're going to do something, do it, please. Like that's all that I ask, you know. The fact of not coming through when you say you're going to do something or promise something, it is a big pet peeve. And so to kind of see Ollie, it does feel a little bit out of character for Ollie. Not to say that I haven't seen moments of him being rude or forgetful, but to the extent of this felt maybe a little bit too far, maybe a little bit too out of character for somebody that literally said his biggest fear was losing his friends. You would think that people like that would certainly pay a little bit more attention to their friends, actually actively listen, and come through when it comes to their promises. So yeah, Ollie definitely dropped the ball in this episode, and I don't know if given brand new headphones will certainly be enough to say sorry to somebody, but it'll definitely benefit Javi in the future when it comes to his music, to certainly say the least. But it was just really weird to see Ollie in this mindset of his technology being that much more important. I mean, listen, you know, his reasoning for at least the flub on the second interview was to go ahead and get a brand new laptop, one that he clearly was kept his eye on. And it wasn't necessarily even for him so much as it was for his mom. You know, with them currently doing the testing over at Pine Ridge Bay with their sub drone, trying to get, crunch a bunch of numbers and things like that. Dr. Arcana clearly was working with ancient technology at that point in time. But it's one of those things where I understand his idea of wanting to get this for his mom, crunch those numbers, find the answers, right? Like, because he does have a point after the disastrous interview of, hey, this is just going to help your information even more now that once we actually crunch the numbers. And yes, while it certainly will help in the long run, it's the principle of the matter, that you told me you were going to sit down with this interview and help me explain this to other people. And then if we want to come back with more information, that's fine. But you got to do what you asked, what I asked you to do. And promise that you certainly would do. So interesting stuff, to certainly say the least, in regards to that. So I can understand how Ollie would certainly rub people the wrong way in here, because he definitely rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm kind of hoping that this is the last time that Ollie is that blatantly rude and not as thoughtful towards people or to his other friends. I feel like this might happen again, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I am looking forward to it. I don't mind Ali as a character. There definitely are moments where I really do appreciate Ali, certainly for who he is. But yeah, this episode just really showed that negative side of him, that really puts his technology first before his friends, if you will. But and then of course we come to see that the shout out and honorable mention does go out to Campbell Cooley in here, not only doing the voice of Slither, but getting his face on television, looking smooth with that baby blue suit, the hat, the glasses. I love his mannerisms, just as showy as Mr. Wiz as he is as Slither. Just love his presentation. I truly do. Like, even when we see Ali and Javi leaving Buzz Blast, and you just see, Mr. Wiz looking around the corner, he's like, haha, and he comes, he slides behind the wall, sort of thing. I even love just seeing Campbell Cooley like twirl his way into the shot for his interview with Jane in regards to the bubble gum. Loved it. Loved Campbell Cooley's appearance in here as Mr. Wiz, who winds up giving Ollie the laptop after guessing how many bubblegum balls are certainly in the jar. But unfortunately, that laptop being hacked and really utilized for Slither and Mucus to wind up taking that golden capsule out of the Pine Ridge Bay and use it for themselves, or at least until it opens, and then they wind up running off. So interesting stuff in regards to how they utilized Ollie in here. Wasn't the biggest fan. Really would have loved to have seen a little bit more compassion in him actually come through for his friends, but really drops the ball into the very end where he has to give himself yet another apology, which, I don't need my Rangers to say sorry for everything that they do, or at least in every episode. I guess it is one of those things of, there does have to be sort of a lesson of the day. It just sucks that of all the people, it's Ollie that's getting this negative ass rap about it. But understandable, because he was rude as F in this episode. Couple other honorable mentions. I think we mentioned some of the Dino Fury keys that we had in here, the blazing armor along with the electro battle armor, also known as the Bira Bira mode, if I'm not mistaken, from Real Soldier. And then my last honorable mention in here is really just Jane and Jay Borg. I feel like this is the most that we've seen of them since this series wind up returning. Love and they actually made me laugh a little bit in here. The idea of watching paint dry and even seeing them kind of blowing bubbles. Like, for me, I really appreciated the Matrix move that Jay Borg hits when all the bubble gums goes up in the air and they start dropping, and Jay Borg comes in and she just hits that Neo real quick. It's like, just starts eating all the bubble gum that drops into her mouth, sort of thing. I love the humor from Jane and Jay Borg here this week. It doesn't necessarily get old for me, and the fact that we don't get it every single episode, I'm truly thankful for. Although on second viewing, when I was watching this scene towards the end where Jane's got the contestants up on the stage and they're all trying to blow the biggest bubble. If you look at the second extra, the chick that's in the middle, she looks like she wants to laugh so freaking bad while she's trying to blow this damn bubble. I gotta admit, it looked like it was pretty goofy and funny to film. So I did kind of crack up a little bit when I saw the second extra in that shot, almost trying to laugh while she was trying to blow her bubble all at the same time. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, Jay Borg certainly came through for me when it comes to this episode, but I know not everybody's the biggest fan of that like physical comedy aspect. Like for a second there, when I saw Jay Borg blowing the bubble, I thought it was going to be like an up situation where like she would blow it up so big that it would just start having her float somewhere. You know what I mean? But the fact that they just made a massive bubble and then have it explode and get everybody kind of stuck in it, it worked for me. I almost appreciated that instead of the up reference of being lifted off by some damn bubblegum bubble. You know what I mean? But overall, enjoyable episode. I mean, the Gold Ranger stuff really did it for me. Getting the opportunity to see Javi and Ollie really share some screen time together. Like, if you ask me, I think Dr. Arcana probably would have done the interview anyway. Like, I really don't think you even needed to rely on Javi. I think if, or Ollie, I should say, if Javi literally just asked Dr. Arcana for the interview up front, I think she probably would have done it anyway. I mean, granted, she was in the middle of crunching numbers, but considering how long that was certainly going to take for that to happen, I don't think she would have minded a few minutes just to answer some easy ass questions from Javi. But definitely give Ollie that shine. So congrats to Kai Moya for certainly really getting some shine in here, along with Chance Perez, two buddies in action. So I had a fun time with this episode overall. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, I definitely want to go ahead and know some of your thoughts. So what did you guys think about episode number 15, Storm Surge of Dino Fury? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. And again, if there's anything that I missed, definitely go ahead and let me know in the live chat or the comments. So let's see what you guys are saying. Let's go ahead and